the latest episode of Devs, we see Lily seeking answers. Jamie and Forrest are bonding, and in less than 21 hours, everything will change. We're talking about that and much more. In episode 6 of Devs, Lily and Jamie visit Forrest looking for answers, and Katie reveals to Lily the true nature of the Devs system. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again with my new review of the latest episode of FX on Hulu DEVS. This is my recap, review, breakdown of the latest episode. I'm very excited to talk about it in this spoiler breakdown. So before we dive into it, as you all can see on the screen now, if you're not already, follow me on all my social media accounts. Definitely subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell so you don't miss any of my new content. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Helps out the channel, but also really appreciate it. And last but not least, if and when you've seen this latest episode, what'd you think about it? What are you expecting to happen in the next 21 hours? Let's speculate. Let's make some theories in the comments below. So this was a very, very great episode in my opinion. I always love when things are moving at a certain pace. We get some action every now and then, but I am a big fan of when you give me fascinating characters like we got with Lily and Forrest and Katie and Stuart and Lyndon. When they're having conversations, that's as appealing and as entertaining as anything possible. So this was a very conversational episode with a lot of details being given to our main characters, and I loved all of it. So we're going to break it down here, starting off with the first scene, a very interesting scene, which I would love to know you guys' thoughts on the opening scene. Did you think that was a flashback? Was it Forrest using the dev system? Was it a dream? Let me know what you guys thought of that scene where we see Forrest interacting with his daughter, interacting with his wife, and at the end of the scene, we see him kind of surrounded by four flowers, reminding me a little bit of Midsummer going on there. Also, in that the song in this episode, and particularly at the beginning of the episode and also at the end, really reminded me of, if you all have seen Alex Garland's Annihilation, the scenes where we saw Kane and Lena having their interactions, their happy moments. That song kind of reminded me of that. So, but like I said in the comments, let me know what you all thought of that opening sequence, if it was a flashback, a dream sequence, or was it somehow interconnected with the dev system? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So again, within this episode, a lot of conversations taking place with a lot of my favorite characters, starting off with one of the scenes when we see Stuart and Lyndon having a conversation after Lyndon breaks into Stuart's RV. Again, Stuart is really concerned about Lyndon's safety, telling her to, I shouldn't be talking to you. You shouldn't be talking about devs anymore. Move on with your life. We find out that she's 19 years old, very young and intelligent person. But within that same conversation, we see, from the perspective of Lyndon, how she perceives or how she sees Forrest. And we've seen some of these characteristics, right? She mentions that he's obsessive, he's crazy, and he kills people, which we all know that he killed. Well, he didn't necessarily directly kill Sergei, but we know that he had those demands from Kenton to do so. So very interesting to hear those words from one of our main characters. For the first time in the season, someone mentioning the characteristics of Forrest, which I thought, again, this whole episode was just kind of putting things in perspective, right? So, and another thing that she also mentioned was the first time we've ever heard this in the season, he's trying to resurrect his daughter. Now, we've all been speculating about it in the last, 5 episodes, and especially last week, we got a little bit more in-depth explanation of what they're trying to accomplish. And as I had made theories about last week, saying that I believe that Forrest is trying to find Amaya, his daughter, within a certain other timeline or a certain multiverse, and use and pick her from that multiverse and bringing them into his particular timeline, which I kind of compared it to, for those Avengers fans of Endgame, how Thanos from 2014 was brought into that current timeline, and by him doing that, bringing Amaya from whatever timeline he's trying to get her from, it will affect not only that timeline but also his current timeline. So as they mentioned in this episode, which we'll get to in a little bit, everything will change if he's trying to do that. So again, let me know your theories of what he's trying to accomplish in regards to how he's going to bring back his daughter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So again, that conversation between two of my favorite characters in the season, Stuart and Lyndon, was very fascinating. And also within that same conversation, we hear Lyndon kind of convince, in a sense, Stuart that they need to get this technology out of this crazy person's hands. So that will be really interesting to see how they go about doing that. Will Stuart compromise the dev system? Will he interfered with certain things in the next few episodes. Let me know what you guys think about that comment that she made, that they need to get this technology out of this crazy person's hands. So another thing too that I guess would be a bit interesting would be that, Katie and Forrest could probably predict whatever they're doing, right? They can probably see whatever they're trying to attempt to do. If, that does come true, they can probably prevent that, right? Let me know your thoughts on that particular scenario playing out. So from there, this is kind of the meat of the episode is really focusing on Jamie and Lily, again, seeking answers in their relationship, kind of going back to what it used to be, which we'll talk about. But we see Lily and Jamie wake up in the motel. Obviously, Lily's still kind of confused about what happened, after the meds are kind of wearing off with her. And within this conversation, Jamie brings up that they should maybe contact the media, which I'm just like, no, Jamie, you already came up with the genius idea to get the cops involved, and that didn't play out too well. So, within that moment, we do get a funny scene, in my opinion, at least, when Lily says she wants to go back to San Francisco, and Jamie's just like, oh yeah, I'll stay here. I'll just watch cartoons and just text me when you're done. I thought that was, again, this is a really heavy, deep conversations that we're going to talk about here in a bit, but I thought that was a little bit of comedy, which I always love to see in these type of television shows. So from here, again, this is where the fascinating conversations take place. We see Lily and Jamie go to Forrest's house, which, by the way, we see Forrest say to someone that we didn't know at the point, saying that she's here and that she's outside. And I'm just like thinking in my head, who is this mysterious person? And it's revealed to be Katie, which I had mentioned in either last week's episode or episode 4, that I always saw the relationship to be a little bit more than just like a mentor-mentee type of relationship. And it has been confirmed in this episode that they're in a relationship, and that's his girlfriend and that's her boyfriend. So very interesting reveal within this episode. And, Katie tells Lily, that she can talk to her, that Forrest doesn't need to talk to her. She knows all the answers. And in this meantime, we're seeing Forrest and Jamie, which we'll talk about here in a bit. They go outside and talk to each other. But again, the conversations in this episode between Lily and, Katie was very fascinating. These are conversations that I have amongst myself, my friends, family members, in regards to, are things at random? Are things already in motion? Are things set, are meant to be? Nothing's an accident. Nothing's at random. Everything that happens on every second of the day between everyone in the world is meant to happen. Again, that conversation to me was just so fascinating. We're going to break it down here in a bit, but I just thought that the topics and the conversations that are had in this television show, and the things that Alex Garland presents to the audience is just so fascinating to me. Because again, these are conversations that I have, on my own personal time. So again, very interesting conversation. We learned that Lily, again, is Forrest's girlfriend. And again, it's the first time we've heard that all season. And also Lily was just like, she knew that it was, that's kind of the rumor at Devs or at Amina that, one of the employees are dating the boss. And, like I said, that was the first time we got that big reveal. But within this moment, within these first couple moments of them talking, this is where, Lily, this is the big thing. This is her big moment, right? This is when she wants to hear from the people that killed her boyfriend, Sergei, what happened. And we find out, we already knew this, but Katie tells her the absolute truth in regards to what happened to him, that he was working for the Russian spy, which I'm really fascinated to see if that storyline comes up again at all, if they talk about the Russians and what they were trying to do, and if there were more people that tried to steal the Devs program or to get information from them. I'm really fascinated to see if that comes up again, but again, in this moment, this is where Lily kind of hears the truth. She's always knew what happened, but she never heard it from Forrest or Katie or Kenton or anyone. So she finally hears it for the first time. So the whole storyline thus far is pivotal. This is a pivotal scene because she actually hears the truth, finds out the truth, and it's a big moment for her because now she can maybe let go of certain things, which we'll talk about at the end of this review here. So again, super in-depth conversation. Katie, where Katie asks her about, or Lily asks her about Devs. Katie presents it in a sense of, she gives her a series of questions in regards to how to explain the Devs system, which I thought was really great. There's conversations about the pin rolling and blinking, and again, every cause has an effect. And I just, such a fascinating conversation that they're having. So again, that's a question that I always ask myself. Are things placed in random? Are things always meant to be? Regardless of your religious standpoint, if you believe in science, I just thought that conversation was so in-depth and just such a well-written conversation. The acting was really on point because, again, you're seeing the person that's convinced that everything's meant to be in Katie versus the person that's not convinced in Lily in regards to predicting the future, seeing the past. I just thought that scene was just so well written and so well done. Does everything happen for a reason? Such a great way to explain the devs program about how it's everything, right? How powerful the predictions in this computer is, that it's everything. It can see the past, it can see the future. Again, the conversation was just so on point to me, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys thought of that conversation, because I was just fascinated by the acting, the script, the score, the kind of the somber score in the background. I thought the whole scene was just fantastic. But again, like I said, in the meantime, you're seeing Jamie and Forrest having a conversation outside. Jamie's kind of like playing, he's being hard shell because he's talking to the guy that killed his ex-girlfriend's boyfriend. And then they're playing coy, and Forrest is like, this night can go by a lot quicker if we, have some conversations, which they eventually do. And they're talking about things like love, and Jamie's obviously talking about Lily when he's talking about his love. And obviously, Forrest is talking about the loss of his wife and his daughter, and they're bonding, right? Because we see within that scene they're playing frisbee and kind of chopping it up. But again, this kind of just shows you the different layers of the Forrest character, which again, I think Nick Offerman has been such a fantastic character, and he's showing you so many different layers, right? Again, within this episode, you see his vulnerable side, you see his humanity inside of him. And in previous episodes, we've seen him be, as Lyndon said, obsessive, crazy, and he kills people, or at least one person that we know of. So again, I like the complexity within this character. And again, I thought that they had a really, really interesting conversation that they were having there, and a really good little bonding moment, right, between our quote-unquote villain and our quote-unquote good guy. So I thought that was a really cool scene. So we're going back to that conversation that we get with Katie and Lily, and again, just incredibly fascinated by this. Again, she's telling her about the predictions that could be made and the abilities that they have within this dev's computer about seeing the past and how they saw Christ and how they can look into the future. It's not recommended to do so, but they have done that. And again, we're finding out, as Lily is hearing this information from Katie kind of tells her that we know that something big is going to happen in 21 hours. And she kind of tells her that this big event involves Lily. As we all know from a couple episodes ago, we see Lily die. So as Katie is telling her all this information, she leaves out that one big detail, which is that, again, that they predicted and they saw in the dev system that she will die. And she did not tell her that, which is pretty key. Because again, what I love within these conversations, and this takes place with any show or movie that has like time travel, or if our main character finds out that something's going to happen in 24 hours or whatever the case may be, why wouldn't they stop that, right? Why wouldn't they lock themselves in the room? Why wouldn't they not go to this certain place? And I love that Lily even brought that up. Just like, you can't predict what I'm going to do. I can drive to Mexico. I can just stay wherever I want and not go to the dev system. And Katie's telling her, no, you're destined. It's been predetermined that you will go to devs, and whatever's going to take place in 21 hours, you're going to be a big part of it. So that's where I want you guys to let me know your thoughts. What will take place in 21 hours? Are we going to see the moment that, Katie and Forrest bring back Amaya and bring her into this timeline? Are we going to see him go into the past? Or let me know what you guys think is this big event, and how does Lily play into this event? Is she going to be sacrificed in some sense into bringing her back? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But like I said, 21 hours is the big moment that we've all been waiting for, and that this moment will change everything. So I'm very excited to see what that moment is. Again, I think it is Forrest getting Amaya from a particular timeline and bringing her into this timeline, and it's going to disrupt the universe in a major way. And I'm very interested to see how that affects the world that we know within this world being set in front of us. So we see Jamie and Lily leave, and we see Kenton's been spying on them, and we hear Kenton is like saying that, oh, everyone's buddies. Obviously, Kenton at this point is probably thinking that Forrest is going to turn on him and report him to the cops, or maybe kill him, have him taken out. So again, we got to keep an eye out for Kenton, because he's kind of the wild card at this point, right? So very fascinated to see how all that plays out. Again, they can predict the future, so they would probably know if Kenton's going to pull any strings or maybe affect things. I would think that they would probably look into that, right? That they know how everything's going to play out. But again, Kenton's that pit bull that you don't want to let loose on his leash. So very interesting moment there. We see Katie and Forrest talking about how they, how everything will happen in 21 hours, and that, Forrest says, did you tell her everything? And she says, yeah, I told her everything, but not quite everything. Of course, like I said, she didn't tell her that Lily's going to probably be, dead in 21 hours. So we see that moment there play out. The big moment again, like I said, we see Jamie and Lily go back to her apartment. We see our friend Pete there, has a little funny moment there. But the big moment within this scene, we see Lily just finally letting go of Sergei. She says to Jamie that I didn't know him, I didn't know this side of him, but I know you. And obviously we've seen in this season, Jamie is there for Lily. He's put his life on the line. He's gotten his fingers broken. He's been drowned to protect Lily. So it was a good moment, right? Because I obviously like Jamie a lot. We didn't spend that much time with Sergei. We got a couple flashback scenes, and we got the first episode and see how the relationship was. But I was rooting for Jamie all season, and he shot his shot, and he got his opportunity to kind of get back with Lily. We'll see how this relationship kind of plays out and how things kind of, moving forward in episode 7 and 8. But, they get together again. She tells him that I want you to come into bed, and as we all know as adults with that men, and then it kind of plays out later in the episode. But again, this is a big moment because this is where Lily is letting go of Sergei. Again, this whole season was her finding out what happened. She finds out. She almost becomes a Russian spy at one point, right? She risks everything to find out the truth about Sergei, and she finds out what he did and what happened to him, and now she's moving on. So a really powerful moment for Lily, and it'll be really interesting to see her character moving forward in regards to what's her motivation now after finding out the truth. So as the episode wraps up, we see, Forrest and Katie talking about how they like Jamie and Lily, and again, Katie tells Forrest, everything's gonna change. We've been waiting years, hours, months, but we're only a mere 21 hours to do what they have been trying to do for the last few years. So again, very excited to see what is gonna happen in the next few episodes. So episode ends with, and also too, I forgot to mention that very interesting line that Forrest says to Jamie that everything's going to be okay. He promised him that. So that's really interesting because obviously we know that Lily's going to die. So that's not means that everything's going to be okay. But either way, like I said, the episode ends with, like I said, the same song that we got at the beginning of the episode that really reminded me a lot of the song that was in Annihilation. And we see, again, Jamie and Lily hooking up, which will, like I said, it'll be really interesting to see how that relationship plays out in the next few episodes. But again, the questions I have left in the remaining 2 episodes, will that Russian storyline come back into place, in regards to what the Russians were trying to discover, if they discovered anything, and will they come to in future episodes? What will Kenton attempt to do, knowing now that thinking now that Forrest and Lily and Jamie and Katie are all best friends now? I wonder what he's going to do. Will he kill her? Will he be the one that kills Lily, or will he be killed himself? Be really interesting to see that. And then exactly, like I said, what's going to happen in 21 hours? How will they resurrect Amaya? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And what will happen after the conversation between Stuart and Lyndon? Will they affect anything? Will they be the people that's going to stop this 21-hour big event from happening? A lot of stuff going on. And again, Forrest and Katie know the future, so can't they prevent some of these things happening? We'll see in the next 2 episodes. So again, guys, thank you for watching this review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure you check out my other videos. Like I have a giveaway going for Rise of Skywalker. I have a watch along tomorrow for the Knives Out, 7 p.m. Central Time. So definitely tune in so you can watch that movie with me and have a good time on the YouTube live watch along. I got some other reviews coming this weekend for Amazing Stories, Netflix movies, and plenty more. So definitely keep an eye out for those videos. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.